There we go. Alright, what's going on, guys? Back with another video here today, but today I'm behind the vise. So I want to show you guys one of my favorite nymph patterns. This is a Perdigon style jig nymph. I'll be honest, I've probably caught 80 to 90% of my fish this summer alone on this fly. So it's that killer. It works all conditions. It's just been my go-to. So if you see me fishing hopper dropper, dry dropper, there's a 99.9% chance I've got this this nymph tied on at the end of that. So anyway, let's get into it. I'll show you guys how I'm going to tie this, and you can vary the materials and colors and everything else as much as you want. There's really no right or wrong to this. So today I'm using a Hanak 450 BL. This is size 16. I usually tie these in 14 and 16. You can go smaller, but I don't think it's necessary. And then I'm just going to use some olive thread here. Get my thread started. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to build a little bit of a thread dam, help keep that tungsten bead in place. And that bead that we're using today is a tungsten slotted bead, size 2.8 millimeter. Anything bigger than that with the dry dropper, you're really just going to start sinking your dry. And so kind of bring your thread to about the hook point there, and we're gonna go ahead and tie in some tailing fibers. So what I'm using today is just some Cogdillion fibers. I usually use anywhere from 4 to 5 strands. You kind of pull those off the stem and try to keep those tips aligned. And what we're going to do here is kind of measure about a hook shank and length. We're going to transfer that back and tie these in. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to try to hold these fibers and pull them up and toward me. That way, whenever I'm wrapping these on here, it'll kind of keep them on top of the hook better, so they don't spin. All right, just tie that into about where the bend of the hook starts. Bring that thread up, and we'll go ahead and trim those off. Okay, bring your thread back to the bead there, and we're just going to tie in some copper wire. And this copper wire is going to be the ribbing of the fly, and I like to just kind of put that tip of that into that slotted tungsten bead. Kind of gives it somewhere to go. We're just going to secure it tightly there, and same thing here. I'm just going to be pulling up and toward me to try to keep that wire on top of the hook there. And we're just going to bring it back to about the same time point for those tailing fibers. And then we'll just bring that thread back to the top or to the bead. And it's just a thread body, so we're going to build a little bit of a tapered body here with our thread. And I try to stick with the verbiage of, you know, less is more. So you don't have to go crazy on this. And at that point, kind of like that, yeah, it looks like a pretty good taper there. So I'm just going to do like a 2 or 3 turn whip finish at this point, kind of save my work. And I'm also going to bring my bobbin cradle around and use the rotary function on this vise. So what we're doing here now is just trying to do some nice even wraps for this ribbing here. Get it up here to the end. Move this out of the way. Okay. So now we're just going to helicopter this wire right off. And it should be able to pop off really close there. Cool. So now we're just going to come in, do a 4 or 5 turn whip finish. Cool. And now we're going to cut this off, and we're going to swap threads. I'm going to add a little bit of a hot spot right here behind the bead. I like orange for my hot spot, but you can, I'm saying, you could do any color combination on these flies. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just kind of personal preference. So really just going to tie that thread on, trim the tag, and we're going to come right in with our whip finish tool and just kind of cover that up. Okay, so you could fish it like this if you wanted to, but I'm going to add some UV resin for some durability here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 different types, just because that's what I have here. You'll see some people that they'll build a, kind of a black wing case. I don't have any black UV resin, but if you did, this is kind of the time that you would do that. Or later on in the fly. So I'm going to use a little bit of thick stuff. I'm going to build a little bit of a bump right back here behind that bead. And again, less is more. Try to be careful with the stuff. You can kind of make a mess. Okay. Yeah, I like that. So now we're going to set that with our torch. Alright, now time to do the rest of the body. So I'm going to switch it up now and do a little bit of a thinner resin. Make sure you have your bodkin ready, because this can get a little bit messy and you might need to clean some of it up. But we'll just kind of cover these thread wraps. Again, less is more here. You put a little bit on it, and then you can come through with your bodkin and kind of spread it out evenly. So another reason we're doing this is not only for the durability of these thread wraps, but also it really helps the sink rate on these things, because that's kind of the purpose of these, is to sink fast and get down to the fish really fast. So by putting this slick UV resin on it, there's less drag through the water, so you can get it down a lot quicker. We'll just kind of set this here, and that's it. I got the tail just a little bit longer than what I typically like, but man, that's gonna fish well. So anyway, like I said, this is one of my go-to flies. This is my #1 confidence pattern. You could do all kinds of different color combinations. You do purple, pink, red, orange, blue, whatever. I mean, it's limit. There's no limit on this. So anyway, you guys tie these up and see what you think. But if you guys got any more flies that you guys want me to try to tie them, I try to do some more of these fly tying videos. I really enjoy tying my own flies. So if you got any more flies that you guys want me to put a video out on, drop those in the comments. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this video, if you want to see more of this kind of stuff. But we will see you on the next one.